Welcome back to the league recap. The last video we saw the Philadelphia Eagles winning their first franchise Super Bowl in history over the Indianapolis Colts. So this video is going to be more recapping this season, and then we'll have some stats that show some of the progression over the years, because I know it's hard to keep track of this franchise from your end because there's a lot of videos and a lot of content over the years. But you can see Donovan McNabb pulls in league MVP, Super Bowl MVP. You have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick bringing in league MVP and Coach of the Year. Patriots having a really good season, just not enough to win the Super Bowl. Then you have the Calvin Johnson Jr. Offensive Player of the Year. Ray Edwards, a lot of sacks for the Packers. And then Josh Gordon, a surprising Offensive Rookie of the Year. I expected him to be good, but I didn't expect him to be this good, winning the award. And then Michael Kendricks, the linebacker for the Jets, pulls in the Rookie of the Year for defense. Then when we look at the history of Super Bowls, you can see the Eagles have been added to the track record. This was the year of the Ravens versus the 49ers. The Eagles were 16-0 the very first year, but lost to the Bills. They have not been back to the Super Bowl since. We can see that the Colts were back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Patriots back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Pittsburgh getting 2 Super Bowl victories. San Francisco getting 2. Indianapolis almost got their 3rd Super Bowl, but just could not come away with it. Brady Quinn was not able to be clutch enough. And even their defense failed them on the last drive. Let's see, anything else of interest here? Giants back-to-back, but lost back-to-back. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. I mean, I do think it's funny, though, if you didn't notice, the Giants and Patriots were the same years of the 49ers. And I think it's interesting because Tom Coughlin is the coach of the 49ers, and in real life, he was the coach of the Giants. Fun facts that I enjoy to share. Then we have the AFC and NFC championship games compared to real life. As you can see, it was very heavily Colts and Pats. The Patriots in real life made 4 Super Bowls and went 2-2 during this time. My Patriots are only 2-0. I don't know if that's better or worse. Is it better that Tom Brady and Belichick are 3-0 in the Super Bowl, or would it have been better if they were 3-2 at this time? So we will see if that changes. But you see the Patriots, good, and they will continue to be a good team. You got the Colts, right, making 3 Super Bowls. So that's more than anyone except for the 49ers. You have the Broncos, who missed out on the appearance right there in 2004 and 2005. You have them making it back in the 2008 Super Bowl when they lost to Pittsburgh, or lost to the 49ers. As for the NFC, the Panthers have made it quite a few times to the championship game, just only came away with the victory once and failed to win the Super Bowl. Giants were 2-1. As you can see, they also made it back here recently. 49ers have made it to the championship game 4 times, lost to the Eagles, but then were able to defeat Washington, who would have sent Michael Vick to that Super Bowl. So that's a big shocker. Vikings made it twice. Tampa Bay made it once. Seattle almost made it. Then we look at league MVPs. If you saw earlier in the videos, Culpepper was basically the dominant force here. You can see right there, 4 out of 5 seasons he was a Super Bowl MVP, or he was the league MVP. Michael Strahan had 42 sacks. Now this was back in Madden 20, so I don't know if sliders were bad, but let's just say Strahan was pulling in 4 to 5 sacks a game against me. Definitely deserving of the MVP. And I think he's the only defensive MVP, at least in this century. Peyton Manning gets 1. Alex Smith and Clinton Portis both get an MVP, which is really sad that they can't get anything to work in the playoffs. They failed to make the playoffs this year. So they're a very stacked team with a very solid players, that 2 MVPs, and they still can't get it done. Brady right now, the only one to have 2, other than, of course, McNabb, or other than Dante Culpepper. But McNabb got the league MVP last year. Now he got the Super Bowl championship this year as an MVP. As for Coach of the Year, I mean, the Panthers were really, really good. They had the best defense in the league for many years. So John Fox pulled in 4 out of 5 years of being Coach of the Year. We see Belichick now getting his second. Andy Reid the very first year when they went 16-0. Hard to defeat that. Dick LeBeau, kind of an outsider. Surprised that he was able to kind of get one, but the Chiefs did have a really good season with him, so he's kind of the oddball. Sean Payton was a very well-deserving one. He's been an 11-6 or 12-5 team for many years with the Chargers. He just can't find a way to make the playoffs work or to make the Super Bowl. As for the Rookie of the Years and for offense and defense, we see Josh Gordon pulling in this year, Terrell Pryor last year. Pretty decent, diverse group there. As for real picks, we see Ben Roethlisberger won it in my franchise and in real life. Peterson won it in both. And that's really been it on that side. I don't have all their headshots in yet, so I got to go add those. And then we see on the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Kendricks pulls it in over Kuechly. Von Miller was the same. I don't think there's been any rookie, because there was Polamalu in my franchise, and there was Terrell Suggs in real life. Sean Merriman in real life. Bryant McFadden, of all people. Dante Whitner, he's kind of been the Troy Polamalu for Pittsburgh, the hard-hitting, 99 overall right now, strong safety. Lawrence Timmons over Willis. Clay Matthews over Cushing. I don't have the history of the offensive and defensive players of the year, but that's fine. So as for the breakdown of the divisions over the years, you can see Cleveland wins their first division title since becoming becoming an NFL team again. Pittsburgh was a division leader for most of the time, as you can see, right? In 04 and 05, 06, 07, these years. They've kind of been more mediocre. I mean, we see the Ravens having a crazy year last year, going 14-3 with Kaepernick as a rookie. Bengals had a decent season here and there. But this division has been run by the AFC or the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then when we break down the AFC East, it's been New England. Other than that one year that the Jets came through very early, the first year it was the Dolphins and then the Bills. And then New England just took it from there. And then it was Jets one time. So, and then the Patriots are the only team to make the playoffs. The Dolphins are very good. They made the Super Bowl last year, which is why they had a little AFC championship game icon there. But they weren't able to win the Super Bowl, and they weren't able to make the playoffs again because they lost in Week 18. Pittsburgh got into the playoffs when they really shouldn't have. Then the AFC South, we see the Texans winning a Super Bowl, the Colts winning a Super Bowl, and quite frankly, it's been the Colts division. Other than the Titans winning year one, that was the only year the Colts did not make the playoffs. Texans winning it most recently, which snaps their history of never winning the division in this franchise. They do so this year. Then you got the AFC West. It's been Chargers for the past several years. The Chiefs were pretty close. You see Dick LeBeau with 2-7 records, but that just wasn't good enough. They won. This is the year he won Coach of the Year. And then, of course, Callahan got it in year one. Denver had a few good seasons, and this was the year right here when they were 7-10, I believe. Or maybe, no, excuse me, 8-9 year. They were the 8-9 season. They made the Super Bowl and lost to Pittsburgh. So they were the 7th seed working their way up. But right now, Chiefs went from being a mediocre team that could make the playoffs every now and then to being the bottom of the league. Then for the NFC North, it's mostly been, it was kind of all over the place. I mean, it's mostly been Packers and Vikings. Year one with Brett Favre, it's very clear that they were the team to beat. Vikings were right behind them. Vikings won it narrowly. It was a bad year for the division in wins. I mean, Brett Favre was good. They had Rich Gannon was in Chicago that year. Marty Morningway and Joey Harrington weren't that great. So they've kind of bounced around between Vikings. The Lions had some good seasons under Chris Palmer, and I don't know how that happened. It was mostly Brody Croyle magic, but they won the division one year. Dick Duran won it with Chicago. He was fired because they kept losing in the playoffs, and they were supposed to win with Rich Gannon, so that's why they got him booted. And then Johnny Lynn, the Giants defensive coordinator, got 3 years, and you see all the decline right there. Then you got the NFC East, and that's mostly been dominated by the Eagles for many years. There was that small stretch where the Giants made 2 Super Bowls with Jim Fassel. You can see they had some really good records there. These were the Matt Schaub and Terrell Owens years. And then basically once they finished that up, then Dallas had the one good year with John Harbaugh, Vince Young, Adrian Peterson, and then it went back to the Eagles. Washington got their first division win right here in 2011-2012 with Michael Vick. And you can see Marty Morningway was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles since he was fired from the Lions. Then for the NFC South, we see it was mostly been the Panthers. Saints have yet to win the division title. Start off with the Buccaneers. They have that one NFC championship. Then it was the Panthers. Panthers are probably the more dominant team because of their defense. Childress has always been pretty in the running. He was 9-8, made the playoffs this year. However, it was with Peyton Manning, which I expected him to do better. They won the first round of the playoffs, but then lost shortly after, so to the Eagles, who won the Super Bowl. But you can see they've had some consistency there with their coach. Same thing with the Panthers. They're one of the only few teams that have not let go of a coach. I think it's like the Panthers and the Patriots and the Eagles are the ones that have never had a coaching change. And then we go to the West, where you see 2 Super Bowl victories by the Niners and the NFC Championship game. And I think each year they made the playoffs, or each year they won the division. They were pretty competitive. The Rams were very good early because they had Kurt Warner. Then when Kurt Warner left, they stumbled a little bit, having like Tony Romo and the Jay Cutler, these journeyman quarterbacks. Now they have Andrew Luck. They went 8-9. So we're going to see if the Rams are able to turn it around. Carroll in his first year was not what he wanted it to be, 6-11. And he had a good team. He had Eli Manning, Marshawn Lynch. They had weapons. They just didn't win. And then Wisenhunt, been there for a few years, but just not able to make anything happen. I think one of these years he made the NFC Championship game, but then lost. And so if you want to take a look at these, this is how I've been keeping track of playoff teams. That's the seed that they were, and then which teams made it. So the first 4 on left to right, 1st through 4th, is going to be the teams that won their division, and then the wild card. So if you want to take a look at this, you can always pause the screen, check out how all the teams fared over the years. I think it's a really cool little graphic there I play with PowerPoint on. Then we have how many playoff appearances each team made. We can see here that the Colts, every team has missed the playoffs once. Colts missed it their first year and have been back to the playoffs ever since. You see the Browns and the Jaguars and the Cowboys are the 3 teams that have only made the playoffs once. Washington, Arizona, Oakland making it twice. Oakland made it the first 2 years, and that was it. But this is another way I keep track of just kind of league history. Then we look at the most winning and teams in the league. The New England Patriots are number 1 with the 126 wins. The Eagles are second with 122. Then it's the Colts. So Peyton Manning did very well, and what I think would have derailed them was when Peyton Manning got injured for the entire year, like he did in real life. The Colts would have been like 2-15 or something like that in real life. But Brady Quinn got them to the playoffs. So because of that, they're still up there. Aaron Rodgers and the Chargers up there. Panthers up there. But the team with the fewest wins is the Dallas Cowboys with only 71 wins, 112 losses with that tie game. You can look at even the Browns. They have 75 wins, so they were one of the lower ones. I need to adjust. I guess I didn't flip the Browns and the Jaguars. The Jaguars are the worst team. I didn't even notice that. I just didn't sort this correctly. But the Jaguars are the worst with a nice 69 record. Let me see. I don't think there's anything else to really show. Oh, there is that. The last division title. You can see all the teams that last won it, and so I always update the team that won gets the 2012 because it's 2012 to 2013 season, and then we'll be off to the next year. So hope you enjoyed this video, kind of a update on this current season, as well as an update on the entire franchise. We'll begin some off-season videos very shortly, but thank you for watching. If you like this journey, please subscribe and like this video to get more of this 32-team retro franchise content.